All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start asking a question, and then whoever I ask, you'll have 1 minute, and then next thing is you're going to ask someone else. I'll be the last one to be picked. Okay. So right now it's just the six of us, and actually Fatima is not going to be able to participate. So it's just the five of us, which is good because we're going to really learn everything about each other. And I know James is not going to be here for. It's only going to be here for a short time, but we'll try and make it worthwhile for all of you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Jamie. Jamie, what type of business do you do, and why are you passionate about it?
I am a notary signing agent. So I do loan docs, different types of closings. I'm passionate about it because it's a new career for me. I waited tables for 30 years I'm also an actress, so it kind of went along with my acting. And then when the pandemic hit and I wasn't working anymore, I just decided waitressing was like soul sucking and really hard on my body. And I had done this kind of business several years ago, but never really stuck with it. So I was really excited to get started again, and I dove right in and I took courses and I just built up my business, which I'm still doing. But I really love what I do. I really love helping people refinance their homes or buy their homes or sell their homes. It's nice to be a part of the process.
That is awesome, Jamie. Thank you. Now, it looks like we had another person that came in. It says Inkster Chamber of Commerce. Can you hear us, and can we see you on video today?
Yeah. Let's see. I just came in from outside, so
okay.
I was trying to change the name. So my name's Mike Ralph.
Hi, Mike. How are you? Okay, so we're just starting the first part of our meeting. And you missed the 6 goals that we were trying to accomplish, but I can get you catch up on that later. So right now we are doing a Q&A, and Jamie is now, it's her turn to ask someone a question, and you have 1 minute to answer. So Jamie, who would you like to select?
How about Paul?
Okay, Paul. What's your question for Paul?
Well, what is it that you do, and why do you do it?
That's a great question. Thank you very much, Jamie. I'm originally from California to San Francisco specifically, and still do business there. I'm an active realtor out of the city of San Francisco. But I moved out here to Rio Rancho, New Mexico about 8 years ago, and it was by fluke. I just helped a friend and his wife move. And what I am is I'm an impact investor manager for commercial development projects. I'm also a commercial broker out here. Our focus is on STEM and STEAM projects, specifically biotech and the autonomous commercial electrical vehicle industry out here. The mayor of Rio Rancho is pro-growth now, and Marie used to live out here back in the late or middle 90s, but things have changed tremendously. Mr. Bezos bought himself a big spread out here in the west side, and I participate a lot in the NAIOP forums out here. So that's basically what I'm here.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a lot, Paul. Thank awesome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so Paul, who would you like to select next?
Okay, let's see. I would like to select. Okay, well, James, let me ask you this. You're from Southern California, James, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about Sales Catapult. Please tell me about your business.
Yeah. So, and by the way, I'm from the Bay Area originally. So
really fantastic. A lot of Californians.
Born in Berkeley, grew up in Walnut Creek, and went to school down here.
Lived and done business in both of those places. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have a long sales career and sales leadership, specifically as like director of sales, VP across a lot of different segments. And I spent a good amount of time with one particular company. That actually was kind of an unfortunately, I missed part of what you said, but it was in a commercial real estate industry, which was a CoStar Group. And so you might be familiar with that company. They bought apartments.com and like that. So anyway, I have really been inspired by and taken pleasure in building teams and individuals and helping them to succeed. And so I got the opportunity over the last couple of years after I left. I'd done some startups, but I left corporate America, and then did some consulting gigs, and then got an opportunity to be, essentially become part of this organization called Sales Acceleration that gives you all the back end support. And there's 180 outsourced or fractional VPs of sales. And what we do is go in and I specifically am focused on startups and then small to mid-sized businesses that I help to build and scale their sales processes and profitability.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
That was awesome. Thank you, James.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, James, your turn.
All right. Let's see, who haven't we got to? Well, Paul was already asked a question. Cliff.
Jamie, I asked a question to Jamie, and I think you have Cliff or Inkster. I mean, Michael.
Inkster.
I look at it and say Inkster, but
I
never.
gotta get a cool name like that. All right, so I'll ask Cliff. Cliff, what do you do, and what's your business, and what's your passion?
Well, the name of my business is Abacus Strategic Partners, and what we do is we do digital marketing and lead generation, and it's a little bit different than what you think about. We take data, and we've got an algorithm that applies data that we get offline to deliver display ads through the internet to specific addresses. And we can take any demographic, any SIC code from any business, and we dump these people into sales funnels and generate leads through an email funnel. It's much akin to what you think of as starting out with kind of the old style direct mail, but generating kind of sales leads that do like the old style cold calling.
Okay. So it's
I
much
came
more.
out of banking. We do a lot of Community Reinvestment Act marketing for banks. We do a lot of insurance marketing, a lot of large ticket retail and nonprofit fundraising.
So
Okay.
you tend to work with larger companies?
Yes, we typically do. So retail, it's usually $2,000 to $3,000 ticket type sums.
Okay. Awesome, Cliff. Okay, it looks like now you have, last one is Michael.
I'm gonna bow a little bit, but I'll try to hop back on. Thank you all. It was nice.
All right, thank you, James. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Take
Okay,
care.
Cliff, what's your question for Michael?
Yeah, Michael, I'd like to know a little bit about what you're doing about the Inkster Chamber of Commerce.
So Inkster happens to be one of the least fortunate communities in Wayne County, where Detroit is. Several years ago, they had a flood that flooded all the city offices, and and they've been really, they're a microcosm of what Detroit is, and they probably have more vacant property than they do have inhabited property over the years. And so I got involved in consulting for a concrete manufacturer, and and Martha Tice, who happens to be the owner, is also the president of the chamber. And so she got me involved in the chamber because I know how to solve problems. My degree is applied mathematics, so physics, chemistry, rocket science, nuclear science, all of those kind of things, all the really heavy duty lifting of problem solving. But I've also gotten involved in community kind of problem solving as well. So
Wow.
I get to work with the legends of the world. And, I work with a legend in Detroit, Willie Horton of the Detroit Tigers, to help him get the statue there at the ballpark, a street named after him, those kind of things. So people call on me to deal with the issues that they've not been able to solve. And so it could be a contract dispute, it could be intellectual property dispute, it could be somebody's that English is a second language and that they're not been able to get a license for their operation because they don't know how to work with the city or the state or the county. So I've worked with a municipality, I've worked for the county, I've worked for the state, and I've worked for the US Army. And for some reason, I always get to work with the very top of the people, top crust of the people. So whether it's Major League Baseball or any of Major League Sports, we're in 43 countries.
Wow, you're full of
you
full
know,
of skills.
we're like all over the place. So right now I'm focusing on, I'm writing a book. I call it the 5 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, arts, the arts and sports, creating tomorrow's masterminds today. And I look at taking all the things that we've learned over the last few years to demonstrate that an 18-year-old could have a bachelor degree, a professional grade in art, sports, music, and have the life skills that they need to take care of themselves at the age of 18. So whether it's a license to practice real estate, or maybe they have some kind of other kind of license, professional license, we're going to teach them how to do that. And guess what? We're going to have fun doing it.
Okay.
We're going to have fun doing it. I taught 15,000 students bowling before I graduated college.
All right.
And we all had fun doing it. And so, you know, the teaching methods today are all about the kids passing a test so that the school could manage to get the funding and accreditation that's set up by the state. And my thing is to teach a child how to learn in an advanced way. So when I was in 6th grade, I was reading at a 12th grade level at 1,500 words a minute. And that's roughly 40 times faster than the average 6th grader.
Okay.
So
Well, Michael, we're going to have to move to the next level of our meeting. And I hate to cut you off, but we have like a format that we need to accommodate our time here.
Okay.
But we're gonna move on to the next part of our meeting, which is really where you can share some of your knowledge too. This is the part where we're covering the expert level of our goal. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up to everyone is the discussion on, partnership and alliances. Since you have a lot of experience on that, that's something that I wanted to cover for the next 7 to 10 minutes of our meeting, okay? So, I work with a lot of people, and part of what we do is to make sure that we have a good expectations and, also the understanding of what are the deliverables. So I wanted to open this discussion to anyone and what you think about it. And I'm gonna, try and kind of assign, each one of you to give like a minute or so to just share your thoughts about it. So in your case, if you are, actually, I wanted to make sure we welcome Crisco Williams first. Crisco, you're coming in, and are you available and can you hear us? Are you available on video?
Yes. I can hear you guys just fine. Thank you.
Okay. So, so welcome to Fire Up Connect. We are in our second part of our meeting right now, which is what we call the expert section. And if we can at least get to know what you do, it will be great for us to at least understand what city are you in and what business you're doing, if you can do that for us.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm local in Indianapolis, Indiana. For the past few months, I've been going back and forth to Georgia.
Okay.
I would consider myself a brand specialist, in the realm of creating and curating content.
Okay. And are you going to be available on video?
It's real dark where I'm at. Give me 1 second.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So we're going to move forward. And so the topic today is we're going to have 7 to 10 minutes about alliances and partnership. And I want to open up this discussion. So my question to all of you is, what are your expectations when it comes to working with another, business professional or business owner, when it comes to expectations, and what are the criteria that you're looking for in order to start that kind of partnership and teamwork? I'm going to start with Jamie. Jamie.
Can you skip me? I want to hear some other people. 'cause
Okay,
I'm not
so
quite
let's,
sure.
so what about Paul? Paul, will you be open to starting it?
Sure, and if I could hear the question again, Maria, just so I could
Okay,
have it clear in my
so
mind.
the question is, in regards to alliances and partnership with other people, because we are all entrepreneurs, you know, we kind of run our own business, but there are times that you need to partner with other companies. And what are some of your criteria, expectations when you try to start this kind of relationship with other businesses?
Well, I think primarily the first step is to introduce each other and really hear someone. I think a lot of times we make the mistake by, promoting our product and our services, but we're not really hearing what the other side is wanting to say, introduce. If we allow that, like say in my company, I allow people to introduce themselves and I'm already making some connections with how we can go ahead and try to make business. But I don't stop there. I keep having hopefully interaction with these people and these companies, because what I've learned is that if it's clear in my mind, it doesn't mean that it's going to be clear on the other person's mind. So having clarity is very, very important. And I think a lot of times one has to step back and think, okay, well, this is what I'm promoting, but what can they do to be a big part of this? And sometimes that means, letting people do what they do, and yet me sitting in the background, so to speak, and trying to control this thing, even though I want to step in and say, hey, listen, this is a project that I have this vision on, but really a lot of visions are come to fruition because of the qualities that these other people have. So I think it's just managing people to the point that they could feel like they're a big part of a partnership is really what I'm learning and wanting to focus on,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Okay, Jamie, are you ready for that?
Yeah, so I kind of piggyback on what he just said, that when I meet somebody, I'm not just there to say, hey, can you give me business? I'm there to hear them as well and find out really what they're looking for. And in fact, when Michael, is that you, Inkster? Is that Michael?
You're turn on your mic.
Yes.
Michael, okay. So I heard you say something that triggered me to think about something completely different from my business, but that possibly could be a referral back and forth. So that's how I operate.
Okay, all right. And Cliff? Are you there, Cliff? You're on a mute. I'm not sure if you know. Okay, I think he's having trouble with his, what about Crisco?
Yeah, so for me, I think the biggest thing that I like when doing partnership with people is transparency. I heard someone speak on clarity. I think that's something that's extremely important as well. Because for me to be an effective value to someone else's journey, or I consider a business owner, when dealing with their business, I consider it their baby. When assisting with their baby, I think having clarity on the direction that they're wanting their business to grow, the clarity is just extremely important.
Okay, all right, so clarity is important to you. Cliff, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm back. I had a little bit of a problem with an internet connection is what
All right,
I
okay.
dropped off, and then, but at any rate, I
Okay.
think probably one of the most important things, and this comes from the 30 years that I did in banking and working with other banks and stuff. A lot of times it probably helps to really have a really good understanding about who you're partnering with and what their needs are, because so many times if you don't have that understanding, you don't really ever get anything accomplished, because you're both coming at it from different sides. And maybe somebody covered this while I was offline, I don't know.
Okay.
But one of the first things in teamwork is to be able to really understand what each other's needs are, and be able to on each other's strengths. Not everybody can be good at everything, so it takes a real understanding of who you're working before you can actually accomplish anything. And I don't know if anybody covered that or not. I was off for probably.
No,
And
no,
is
you're
there any-
good. You're good. It's whatever your thoughts are. Okay. Well, thank you, Cliff. We're gonna move on to Michael because Michael looks like to have a lot of experience. So Michael, I'm really interested in what you're gonna share.
So I have a master's, I basically have a master's certificate in referral marketing from Ivan Meisner in his Referral Institute. And so there's a couple of axioms that they taught us. One is, I'm being a mathematician, I love formulas. So one of them is V is in Victor, C is in Charlie, P squared. So when you create any kind of relationship, it could be business relationship or any relationship. First of all, you got to be visible with the person. You have to have credibility. You got to be prepared to do what you say you're going to do. And P squared means that there's profit or value for each other. So you look to do things over and above, and you proactively add value to that other individual. It could be volunteered at a dog show, who knows? But the point is that the relationship is, you get to know that person well enough that you could actually make the sale for them. So, some folks have alluded to that. The other thing is, I think that the golden rule is a lie. Do unto others as what you think that they should do and what you would do unto them. You know, in other words, you're going to impose your own idea on somebody else, and you think that's a good thing, but so they come up with an idea of calling it the platinum rule. And that is to really find out what's valuable to that person and to make sure that when you have the opportunity, you give that freely to that other person. So the onus is on you to learn about that person. We've talked about that. People have talked about it, but that's the key. That's really the key, because people latch on to that. I put together partnerships for the Willie Horton Foundation down in Florida, with the city, the county, the police department, the school system, the churches, the businesses, and the individuals all work together. There's no more gangs in Lakeland, Florida. So, because people are working together.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Okay. Did we miss anyone else? I think everybody was able to share their information. Okay, so for me, I think when you're trying to work with other business professionals, you definitely need to have a good agreement of what your expectations. So I think having a good contract will be a good one to put in place. Second is, making sure that you list all the tasks or the responsibilities that you are expecting from each other. So make sure that there is no miscommunication. And I would say third is make sure that you do what you say you were gonna do. Because for me, word of honor is a big deal for me. If you say that you're gonna do this, make sure that you do that. So there's no problem later on with the relationship. Because if you're coming into this partnership or any kind of alliances, it's 100% commitment. And that's what I come in for when I'm giving my commitment to anybody else. So anyway, I am so glad that we had this discussion. If you have any comments about this information, please put it on the chat. Make sure that you also put your information so everybody can save your information. They can contact you and have a one-on-one meeting. Okay. Next part of our meeting is what we call business share. This is where you can share one of the three things, and we have 1 minute again for each one. And you can either share your success story of your accomplishment or a specific challenge that you're dealing with right now that you wanted to share to the group so they can give you some advices and recommendation on chat. And or third, which is last one, is a specific goal that you're trying to accomplish, but give us a specific time frame of completion so we know what you're trying to do. Because you can't just say, yeah, I want to make $1 million, and we don't know how you're going to accomplish that. So give us a specific goal for the month, or a short-term time frame that will help us support you. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with Cliff. Cliff, are you ready? Are you having trouble with, okay, I'm gonna go move on to Paul. Paul, why don't you start first?
Okay, yes. Well, I feel in the time that I've been here, here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, I've really gotten to know the key people out here. In fact, my company, myself, I was fortunate to be on the front newspaper of the Rio Rancho Observer. I was the first to promote urban buildings out here. And the newspaper got wind of it right before the pandemic in 2019. And they came to my office, wanted to write a report on that. The other thing I feel like I've had some success is getting to know both the mayor of Rio Rancho and Albuquerque. And it seems like they have specific, stereotypes out here in how people do business. And I have not let that stop me. I have taken my training from San Francisco, my parents, and just doing business out there, and I've applied it to here. And my mom always told me never go backwards. In fact, if anything, just introduce part of you to the place that you're at, and that's what I've done. It's not that I refuse to be like most people in places where you're coming and putting up your shingle, but I think this is how people get to collaborate, where you're bringing in something respectfully, right? And so, and with that said, I'm promoting some big projects out here. As we speak, I'm having a national investor campaign going on as we speak now. And I'm going to be having public webinars somewhat like this every Thursday. And so my objective here is to raise funding for these projects that Rio Rancho so desperately needs, because they are a growing city. And how often can you say that you're going to be, or you are a part of building a city? So that's where I'm at with this. And my timeline is I'm hoping to raise investor funds here, hopefully within the next couple of months, because I've already, out of my own savings, I put in more than $300,000-$400,000 of my own funds into something. So, and I'm
how
not
much are you
stopping.
trying to raise, Paul?
On the first project of 38 acres, 12 to 14 million. The second 200 acres, 75 to 95 million. And then we are promoting the first towers, the Civic Center Plaza of Rio Rancho. And that I had lunch with the mayor last Wednesday. He wanted to stay and chat for 3 hours. I felt very fortunate, but I could get into his and my personal or our relationship. But he did mention, Paul, the Civic Center is another potential area. And I mentioned to him, how high is the city of Rio Rancho allowing us to build it? He goes, well, if you wanted to break the skyline tradition out here, I'm all for it, Paul.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
I will definitely need to connect with you on that
Yes.
one. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Let's move on to Jamie. Jamie, what's your
Well, I had, you said you gave me 3 options, so I just wanted to give an example of how dedicated and tenacious I am, because I'm very, very proud of those two values. I had foot surgery last year, and while I was recuperating in bed, I got a call from one of my lenders saying that they needed me to go out to another house to do another signing, just get a signature. And I was lying up in bed with crutches and a boot, and I put my boot on, I got my crutches, I grabbed my bag, I got a friend to help me, drove me to the house, I crawled up the stairs on my booty, and I got in and I signed for them and got it out and went home. And I got it done. That's my point, is I will get things done. And yeah, that's what I really am proud of.
okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Jamie. Okay,
You're welcome.
Michael, looks like I'm curious what you're working on.
Well, I could pick 100 things, but and I'm interested in Paul's because I've I work with a guy that owns an investment company out of Paris. But at any rate, my big to do, I'm building a website, and I'm going to be pressing my new book, and this whole different approach to education. So my book will be out in August or July of next year. And so I look at having this kind of a format to talk to young parents or or parents with young children, and to help guide them through, the minutia that's out there today, which is all totally wrong. So, I'm, it's about time to change it. My boyhood mentor, pastor, that I grew up with, he had 5 PhDs, and he said, I would have traded it all in to become a kindergarten teacher, because that's where you change the world.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Michael. What's the title of your book?
I mentioned before, the 5 R's.
The 5 R's. Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right. Well, for me, I can tell you that I am actually involved with a lot of real estate land development projects. So Paul, definitely is something that we can talk about. And then Michael, I am involved with, I have a radio talk show. It's called Fabulous Lifestyle, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundation, where, we cover faith, family, and fitness. And then the host that I have for the foundation actually is going to have her own show called Taking the Power, and she will still talk about family, and I will definitely make sure that I connect you to her. I also have a radio show called Real Men of Real Estate, and Paul, that's something that maybe I'll definitely share that with you. I have a magazine that we're publishing that is related to the radio show. It's called Fabulous Lifestyle. I already have a magazine called Finest Women in Real Estate. This is the name of my company. And I produce a radio show and TV show for that. We're actually working on a TV reality pilot for the Finest Women in Real Estate. So I have a showrunner from Viacom that's working with me. But most of my focus right now is on a lot of the real estate development projects. I produce live seminars, and I will actually be working with a different group of organizations for next year on doing a live seminar that will include some of my projects for the real estate development projects, and also for the business networking for Fire Up Connect. So those are the things that I'm working on. If you have any questions about, what I'm working on, definitely we can connect. We can have a one-on-one meeting. I'm very interested, Michael, on what you provide to the kids, because I have some people that I wanted to connect you to. I think it will be great, especially for the young kids that you're talking about. I think it will be a great connection for you.
It's also going to include a new design for spaces for children. Your bedroom is more than a bedroom. And so how you design that furniture becomes an important piece to the solution. I've worked with a team to put that together, and it would fit really well with what you're talking about. But my approach is understanding how to develop one's brain so that they have the capacity of learning that's advanced. And so teachers don't know about that science. They never learned it. They're a bunch of sheep from my perspective.
Yeah.
So they just do what they're told to do, and they have to stay in the boundary. I've never stayed in the boundary, even since I was little. So and it's funny, I've always been allowed to work outside the boundary, and amazing things happen. So part of what you talk about, your lifestyle, I've been able to essentially have a life well lived by not having to pay for it.
Okay. Well,
So-
that's awesome. I mean, I think it will be good to educate people on what you do. So let me just give you some information about Fire Up Connect. I know that we didn't have a lot of people today, but normally I would have about 10 to 15 people in my meetings. And today's were pretty low, but what we do is we actually meet every Tuesday at 3 o'clock p.m. and Friday at 11 a.m. And we have different people coming in and out, and we also have official members that are very much involved in creating projects. So the projects that we have done is we did Halloween for Heroes, where we raise money for the active military families, and we just completed that last month. And now we're working on another event for the wounded warriors and veterans, and that is what we call Turkeys for Troops. This is more for Thanksgiving. Now, if let's say, Michael, you joined Fire Up Connect, we can actually, if you're wanted to work with young kids, we can create a project that is, really specific to what you would like to do. And then all of us will be working with you in trying to implement that project.
So I have an urban project that I'm working on. I call it Heroes in the Hood.
Oh, Heroes in the Hood. All right. And what
Heroes
is
in the
it?
Hood. So, working with Willie Horton of the Detroit Tigers for a long time, you would say, there's no heroes for the kids to look up to. So why don't we have the kids become heroes, and we teach them how to become a hero in their own neighborhood.
Wow, I love
So-
that.
So you put neighbor back in hood. So it's really a faith-based operation, but I have a pilot project where I'm working with a business owner. We're going to create 20 businesses for the kids to work in, 1,000 jobs in the neighborhood. And if you work the job, if you work in the business for 2 years, you get to own the business.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's
We're going to
amazing.
do that in 20 places in the city of Detroit. That's 400 new businesses, that's 20,000 jobs for kids in the hood. And we're going to teach them all to be heroes in their own neighborhood. And we're going to have a league of heroes.
I love
So-
that.
So then we're going to take that in every major city around the world.
It's funny, we had a few members that were talking about creating an event, and they wanted to call it Fire Up Heroes. I mean, if again, if you're interested in our group, we can definitely present this project and, create that in the San Diego area or here in California. And even in, if Paul, if you are interested in joining us, we can definitely, work together on building it in New Mexico or in San Diego, right, Jamie?
Mhm.
So that's something that we can work on together. Okay, so let me ask you all of this. In this meeting, did you find something that was beneficial for you? I just wanted to get some feedback right now. And Jamie, I'm gonna start with you. What are the
Okay.
things that you just experienced just from our short meeting, and what do you think about the Fire Up Connect?
I mean, I think it's great. I think it's an opportunity to connect with people from all different industries and see how we all can connect and help each other.
Okay, great, thank you. And Paul?
Yes, I'm fascinated to know that before this meeting, I didn't know any of you and how we have some things in common. So just taking advantage of technology nowadays, it's so advantageous. And that's why I'm really getting a lot out of this meeting.
Okay, and again, this is sometimes it's a hit and miss where we have a lot of people and sometimes we just have a small group. But when we have small group of people, we get to have more time to get to know each other. And so it's kind of really nice to see that. Michael, what about you?
I agree with Paul. It seems like, several of us have very common parallels. We just need to reach out and grab them. We just don't see them. So this kind of forum gives us the opportunity to see all of the parallels and the strengths that come with connecting all of those parallels. Could be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm very actually happy to hear everything that you guys have to share in this group. And I can already see opportunities because part of, why we do this, you know, it's in 1 hour that we want to make sure that we get the value out of it, because I'm a busy woman also. And I like to see value on spending our 1 hour time. And, you know, for this time, I already know I'm going to meet with Jamie, and it looks like there's a lot of connections that you and I are going to be talking about. I have other projects that I want to share with you. And Paul, I think I have some few things that could work with you. And Michael, I mean, I'm really, really interested in everything that you do, because I have tons of projects, other companies that I'm associated to, that I'm partner with, that I can definitely see the connection with you. So again, I appreciate your time here. Is there anything else that you would like to share before we close our meeting? Paul, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, well, before I share anything on my part, I just wanted to be clear, and I was writing you a message. Is the HERO program a nonprofit or is it for profit?
Both,
Okay,
because you need,
Yeah.
so the League of Heroes will be a nonprofit and the actual businesses will be a for-profit. So you
Okay,
have
great.
both.
okay, and
So-
then, I'm sorry, give me one moment, Michael. And Marie, is that the same with your HERO?
So
Project
all
two?
our events that we create, some, especially if they're community events that we're
Mhm.
raising donation, they are attached to a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And one of the nonprofits that we use, which is easy for us to access, is the Inland Valley Business and Community Foundation that I started in 2008. We don't make money from that. It's just a nonprofit exemption that we use for our projects. And actually, IVBC sponsors the TEDx Temecula in the community. And we have it every year, and it's an amazing event that we sponsor.
No, and the reason why I asked is that's exactly what, I think any business that wants to have an impact needs to have some type of nonprofit.
Right.
So,
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you check the website, fireupconnect.com,
Mhm.
you will see charities. And that is something that we're building right now. Right now, we have 2 companies that we're supporting. And so if you have, let's say, another charity or another nonprofit organization that we can include and promote their programs, we will include it in there. And that's part of what we do in Fire Up Connect.
well, definitely like what I mentioned, that our focus is on STEM and STEAM projects, primarily biotech, and then the autonomous commercial electrical vehicle. And I've gathered quite a few people here, decision makers from K through 5, University of New Mexico, CNM, the Double Eagle Airport, CFO. But I've noticed that sometimes people say they want to get into something, but yet it's almost like herding cats. So if there's something that's already established, I'm for it, because I think that really reaches out to where a for-profit company is not even allowed. So
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
I-
Well, I think it's
so-
to explore on that.
So my background is this, my professional background is STEM, is technology. So I speak to that really, really well.
fantastic.
I don't necessarily agree how they set it up, because they haven't done the groundwork in order to make a great engineer or mathematician. So that's what I'm preparing, is to make sure that when a student gets to be 9 or 10 years old, they have the intellectual capability to do those kind of things easily and have fun at it, versus struggling, and then you alienate a whole group of kids that could have been part of it, but they weren't prepared and will never be prepared.
That's fascinating. I think that goes in harmony with what we're trying to do and what the mayor and I were talking about. You know, so many times you see that big projects really have certain amount of that 1% of participants. And I think that's what's been giving this nation, as well as others, well, I'll just speak for this nation, that huge gap that keeps growing between
Right.
the super wealthy and yet, you know, the ones that don't have it, where we could see that the middle class of the United States has really suffered a bit. So what we're trying to do is not only, even though Jeff Bezos is here, and I could even get into a part of that where I feel I was a part of that, But Intel, as you know, Marie, that's here. But what we're trying to promote is these young minds that are in the university level and even vocational workers that really want to make a difference and not always just give it to the big players. I think they could contribute, but to those that are probably in need of their support. So that's why
Can
I'm,
I share a story to all of you?
Of
Because
course.
it's so funny that you guys are talking about this, because one of my visions that I would like to accomplish in the future is to have a facility where we can train the homeless kids to be entrepreneurs. And it looks like with the project that you're doing, Michael, it's like very similar to what I would like to see for this people, for the young kids that
Right.
don't have any access to any kind of resources. I think that would be amazing. And I would love to really learn more about it. And I think that's something that is going to be incredible for a lot of.
I have about 6 parallel projects
Mhm.
that are, so I have second chance citizens that want a chance from fathers that have 3 or 4 kids that are from different mothers and they're in jail from child support. I have a guy that's helping them stand on their own 2 feet. And we're creating businesses for these guys and they're starting to flourish and it's a big deal. I have another group called the Team Up Academy. We're taking people that are unemployed, underemployed, or unemployable and training them for an entry-level industrial job, making $18 to $23 an hour with all of the benefits in 30 days.
Wow.
And then the Heroes in the Hood starts at the age of 12, but training starts at the age of 3. I have first graders that are in 5th grade reading. First graders in 5th grade reading. So Paul, what you're talking about, I have 15 and 16-year-olds smarter than people that are in their 40s that are engineers. So, we have dumped to the young people. At the age of 8, I was standing in front of the CEO of Detroit Edison telling him his annual report was wrong. And I
let me
was
ask you
right.
something, Michael. I'm sorry to interrupt. How do you feel about talking to someone, the UNM panel or CNM panel here in New Mexico to get
I
some type
think-
of curriculum going?
I've done so many different things. I'm game. I'm an inventor. I build the airplane as it's going down the runway. And I expect it to fly and expect to use all the parts and they all get put on right. So there's been amazing things that sort of happen. God puts it in front of me and it just sort of happens. And the bigger the challenge, the bigger the result. So that's how I look at it. I'm just sort of geared to solve the problem, and to sustain the answer. So I could go on and on and on with stories, but my passion is we've dumped our kids. Our kids are stupid. At 30 years old, they don't know a thing. And people are mean, and people are to open up a door. People are shocked that you're going to open up a door for them. They go, wow, somebody actually opens up the door for people. People are not conscientious. They don't care about anybody. None of that kind of stuff. I'm a professionally trained vocalist, so I get to sing the national
Woo!
anthem of the Detroit Tigers. So
Lots of
I did
talent,
no
Michael.
audition.
You're one of the gifted people out there.
Well, I was a professional in art, sports, and music before I graduated high school.
Wow, that's
I ran
incredible.
the largest youth bowling program ever in the history of bowling.
You're sinking, Michael. We
Yeah,
can't see you.
we're not seeing
you-
your face at all.
I'm sorry.
Can you sing a
Um,
tune? Let's hear
so-
you. Let's
Can
hear you
we
sing
hear
a tune.
it?
I want to hear you sing something.
Well, you need to have a proper microphone. But the thing is, if we wanted to do a big event with 100,000 people in it, I know how to do it.
Oh, wow. I would love to work on that. Actually, speaking of that, I'm planning a big event next year. And we are looking at the event here with the International Legacy Center. And so that's one thing. And I have two other organizations that I'm partnering with. And we're talking about having panel discussions, having entertainment, and also award recognition for the community leaders. So, I mean, that is something that I would love to see happen for Fire Up Connect. So Jamie, any comments?
I actually wanted to, Michael had said something and I wanted to clarify. You mentioned concrete. Is that something that you worked with in the past or you work with now? Tell me more about that.
So it's funny. The Martha had called me in to help her with putting together a pro forma and helping with different projects as a project manager, and it's a smaller company. And then they had leased their front end loader for snow removal, and the person that leased it banged it all up to the tune of $26,000 in parts.
Wow.
And they couldn't manage to get paid by the customer. I says, give that to me, I'll go get you paid. Well, what makes you special? I says, I don't know, I'll go get you paid. So I went over there, I talked to the director. I says, here's the parts list. It's right from Caterpillar. You need to pay the bill. If you don't pay the bill, I work with federal Judge Damon Keith, the 6th District Court. His clerk was my grandfather's best friend with Drake Boxing Association. You want to tangle with that? My boyhood mentor was the founder of the CIA. You want to play with that? I says, you don't want to play with me. What you want to do is do the right thing and pay the bill. And he says, okay, I'll assign you with somebody that you can work with. So I come to find out that these kids go to Northwestern High School, this high school Willie Horton graduated from, and he loves Willie Horton. He says, okay, Mike, I'm convinced that you're all doing the right thing. I'm gonna have a check for $13,000 next month, and the next month we'll pay the other $13,000 done. So it took me, all of 20 minutes to get the thing done, whereas Martha and her partner were so frustrated over a period of 6 months, going around in circles trying to get paid. I says, Martha, you just got to have people that have your back.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't. It's just there's no solid indirect relationship that you have that will take you over the top. So.
Okay. Hey, Michael, is there a way that you can put your information in the chat so they can connect with you? I don't think I see any information from you.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I can try to do that.
I think we are almost done with our time. I truly appreciate this meeting. Any last comments while Michael is putting his information in the chat?
If no one's going to say something, Marie, definitely, I do want to chat with you further, since you do know this area a bit, or at least used to know it back in the 90s and 80s, but things have changed.
Yes.
And Jamie, I'd like to know a little bit more about you, because the information that I place here, as far as my information, I'm still active in real estate, and I invite you to go to my website.
Okay.
And my partner is out there, and in fact, I was even thinking of doing some more marketing out there, because I do have general and electrical contracting, had a general and electrical contracting company out there too, and so we are into higher end construction as well.
Okay,
So, yeah.
That's good to know.
great. That would be
Thank
great.
you.
I'd like that a lot.
Okay. And Jamie, any comments?
No, it was great to meet everybody. I just wanted to try this out for the first time. And yeah, it's just interesting how you meet somebody who's in a completely different industry that you don't even think you can connect with, but turns out you can.
So do you think you guys, we accomplished our 6 goals here? One is the fundamentals, learning the fundamentals of services and products of each other, right? Do you guys agree that you got that?
Yes.
And then the second thing is it an effective introduction for all of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and you think this is a good start of building a relationship? I think
Yes, I
so.
think so.
I
Yeah.
think so, for sure.
And the expertise level, do you feel like, everybody is confident enough to really understand what they do? And it looks like, there's that level of expertise in each one of us.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. And of course, we have a good understanding of what we're doing, the involvement and the projects that we're working on. I think we had a good idea of that from each other.
Since you mentioned that, I just want to be clear. It seems like Michael is very gifted in so many things,
Yes.
Mhm.
but if we could give you like 5 minutes, Michael, what really are you honing in on? So I know, yeah, this is Michael. I could call him on that.
So, it's really a window dressing around the kinds of things that you're working on from an urban point of view. So it's conquering the holes in the urban plight, whether it's education for the youth, jobs for the youth, also helping the businessman understanding how he's supposed to get his business licenses and permits and all, communicating to the civic organizations and being part of a chamber of commerce that actually helps one another get businesses in Macomb County. I'm part of Macomb County Chamber. It's an amazing thing. Macomb County is the only county in the country that's totally funded, and nobody plays politics. They're all friends, whether they're a Democrat or Republican or otherwise. They're all work together for the good of the people. It's an amazing, amazing thing. How businesses interact. It's so my passion is in and around that whole mix. And I'm a technologist, and I can bring a lot to the table in terms of solutions, smart cities, all of those kind of things. I'm a control scientist, so
So would you say that you're an expediter for projects?
Oh yeah,
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
I know how to put together projects like nobody else. I've done up to 70 major projects at one time. I managed General Motors IT services contract with EDS. It was a $12.5 billion a year budget worldwide. So I worked in 43 countries.
So I'm going to email you, Mike, and can you send me your resume? Would that be okay?
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
Just keep in mind that it's the small version, but and it's pretty cryptic, so because it's very technical. So we'll work through it, and I actually have a portfolio that's like a PowerPoint of the industries that I've been in, 70 different industries. So
And Paul, what you could do is have a one-on-one scheduled meeting with Michael.
Yes.
Really, hound on everything that he does, because obviously he is very talented and very gifted individual, and there's a lot more that you can probably learn from him.
One of the funnest things that I've done recently is I work with the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association, and they put on clinics around the country. And so you could actually do a whole fundraising thing around it. But we did one at Fort Benning there in Columbus, Georgia. We had 400 kids involved, and we convinced the commanding general to get his grandson involved. So the two of them were involved in this clinic, and his grandson said, "Papa, this is the best day we've ever had together." And he said, "Yeah, I agree." So he gave all of us awards from the commanding general. So because of the value that we brought to the servicemen there and him himself and his grandson. So to me, that doesn't get any better than that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, Michael, thank you. It's a privilege to learn so much about you. And of course, Paul, it looks like, there's a lot of opportunities for us to work together. And Jamie, I can't wait to meet you in person. I have got a lot of events for you, and you and I will be hanging out here in San Diego.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
Okay. Anyway, let's do this. Make sure you save your chat, okay? So you can get all the information. And hopefully, you can consider being a part of Fire Up Connect, because this is really just a small group of people and you haven't really met a lot of our members. If you consider being a member, I would love to work with you and promote you and support you with whatever project you have. I do spend 80% of my 20% projects that I really care about, and Fire Up Connect is one of those. One of my 20%. So if you are really considering being a part of it, there's going to be a lot more benefits for you, and I hope you consider that. Any questions before we sign off?
Yeah, so if you wanted to join, what's the criteria, stipulations, all that for you?
So it's really easy, Paul. When you sign up, there is a one-time fee of $250 just to help you with your profile and everything that you have in the website. And then from there, you will select one of the 3 levels of membership: bronze, silver, and gold. And they start from $12 a month to $29 a month. And the reason why there's 3 levels is just a discount that was attached to it. So if you are coming in as a gold member, you pay $29.99 a month, and you get 15% discount on all the service programs that we offer to the members. If you are silver, you get 10%. If you're bronze, you get 5%. And we have a lot of programs that we offer to the members. And if you're a gold member, you get a lot more bonus also in terms of exposure and marketing, things like that.
And there's a website where I could see that, and if you pay
Yes,
it off in full
It's
in a year?
fireupconnect.com. I'm gonna put it in here, fireupconnect.com. And again, there's a lot of benefits that I can share with you if you are interested more. Some of them are not listed in the website because, we try to give them as more of a an incentive and bonus and surprise. We like to surprise our members. And we're very generous about helping the businesses, especially the members of Fire Up Connect, because ultimately our vision is to have a lot of people in the United States to use the format of Fire Up Connect. Again, I've been around. I've had so many organizations that I've been a part of. I've been a president also for several organizations. And one thing about Fire Connect is very unique when it comes to using the time, like what we did today. We were able to really collaborate. And I saw that, the relationship already ignited in this meeting just because of 1 hour meeting. And in some of the meetings that out there, it's really hard to connect with people. And I really care about my time. And that's why the format of this meeting is created.
And is this your business, or is this some type of franchise or?
Well, this is a business that I started, I would say 3 years ago. And it's been a great connection for the members. We've formed a lot of partnership from all our meetings. So we have 8 meetings a month. And we've done a lot of projects outside the meetings. So this is something that I would probably ultimately later on, that it would probably go on a franchise level. But right now, I'm not even doing that because it's working the way it is right now for us. And if it gets to that point where we have a lot of members, then we'll probably have to consider going franchise.
Fantastic.
Okay. But right now, this is the format that we have. I feel like, it's been great for me. I benefit a lot from this format. I have created projects from from a $500,000 project to $100 million project out of these meetings. And so it's been very beneficial for me.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Well, you and I need to chat for sure.
Yes, definitely. We all need to chat.
Yes. Don't want to leave anyone out. So when can we talk?
Let's go ahead and send an email to each other. Let's just check our calendar. Michael, really thankful for your attendance here. And, I know everybody's 1 hour time is very valuable. And I truly am blessed by your time here today. And hopefully we can create a lot of great things for the community and also create a lot of business opportunities for each other. And again, I'm very thankful for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'll look forward to speaking to all of you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Likewise.
much.
All right.
Thank you
Okay.
very
Good night.
much. It was very
Bye-bye.
interesting. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.